I mean,
Even
you
my
go
opinion.
for it. You go for it, Matt. You
So-
give your crap.
Do you
I
want me to
wanna
read the
talk about-
tweets real quick, or?
Yeah, go ahead. If you
All
have
right.
them.
So Tony Khan, after they lost the ratings, he tweeted, "This week, 2 active decades-long rating streaks from 2 great legends were ended. With all due respect, until this week's head-to-head AEW on TBS versus WWE on USA, neither John Cena nor Undertaker had ever been on a WWE show with under 1 million total viewers, plus under 400K in the demo." And
So-
then after that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Really quick, dear Tony Khan, that's like being the world's tallest short person. Congratulations, dude. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I had mentioned, I was like, up until that point, Edge had never been on a nationally televised cable show that did under 1 million viewers.
And not including Ring of Honor, of course. Neither did Daniel Bryant, neither did John Moxley, neither did half of the guys at all the WWE stars that came to AEW, Chris Jericho. But I don't like that he's doing this, because I want to continue to cheer AEW on. They need to be successful. A lot of my friends need jobs, and will get jobs there, if the ones that are still even there right now, making great money. He should not be out there as the face of their company. He's not out there wrestling. There's no money to be made by him doing all of these interviews and these tweets and everything like that. He needs to chill out and take a back seat. And God forbid, get one of his talents out there. Let MJF do his thing. He's fantastic out there on media and staying in character while he does it. He does it better than anyone in the business, actually.
Yeah.
He's got plenty of stars. Get them out there.
And then the next day, he tweets, "This weekend marks 1 year since Mayo Clinic saved my mom's life." Awesome. Great tweet so far. I had sent him a message last year saying, that's great to hear about your mom. She pulled through. Obviously, and praising Mayo Clinic. But then he goes, during her ordeal, many AEW talent came to me alleging WWE tampering, including them to break their contracts. I'll never forget these phone calls at her side in the hospital. It's when business became personal for me. So bringing WWE into a tweet where he's talking about the Mayo Clinic saving his mom's life.
So I'm not in his head. I'm not in his body. I'm not in his life. So I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, right? So we have to assume he is, because that's disgusting if that's not the truth,
Sure.
right?
I'm sure he is.
Obviously. Yeah. So I didn't see that tweet. So I don't know what to say. I'm just hearing it for the first time, you reading it. But what I mainly wanted to discuss was, again, him going way overboard and trying to find these mini wins within wins within wins within wins. According to my calculations, from 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock and 32 seconds, we were only 600,000 viewers behind them, which has never been done. Come on, stop, dude. It's just, when you're number one, you don't sweat number two. You don't even bring up number two, right? So I get that he thinks he needs to take pot shots at the big monster that is WWE. But when he does that, there's those of us that were cheering AEW on to legitimately beat WWE one day, right? We all want, I would imagine, want to see that happen, because it's good for the business. But when he does things like this, it makes people not like him, and then by proxy, maybe not like the product. And it hurts the talent that's on that show. He needs to stop. Get these guys on the air or on these interviews and podcasts. Let them take over. Let them do their interviews, because he gets put in these positions, like I saw on the Dan Le Batard show, where they're asking him about the situation with CM Punk. Hey, what really happened? And he would not give them anything. And Dan Le Batard, who could tell is friends with Tony, okay, with a connection from football and soccer, I'm guessing, over the years, telling him outright. For those that don't know, Dan Le Batard is a good sports talk show. I've watched it for years, back when he was on ESPN. But with that said, they could tell they're friends, and he was still, you could see, getting pissed off that Tony's not giving him anything. It was, Tony, you're giving me everything you give all these other podcasts, all these other talk shows. Give me something different. Tell me just one small detail about it. And Tony wouldn't budge, and he looked, his eyes were all bugging out of his head, like they always are, and just over the top, just I'm not going to even say charismatic, just something like he just took like 5 fat burners and just like super energetic, but would not give him anything, about the CM Punk scenario. I'm sure there's reasons for it, but that's why he should not be doing these interviews. Because if you're an interviewer, what else are you going to talk to this guy about?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk to him. I want to talk to the stars of that damn show, not him. I want Adam Copeland on my show and say, hey, what's the difference between the two companies? Go, tell me.
Yeah.
How come he's not been doing? How come they have him out there doing any?
Yeah, Ariel Helwani, I remember he said that Tony Khan was the worst interview he ever did because he kept dodging questions. And I feel like when he goes on these shows beforehand, he has to tell him like, look, I can't talk about CM Punk, so please don't ask because legally I can't discuss it at all. But it's a bad. It does look like he's just skirting questions when he's constantly just brushing them off.
And it brings the interview down and it hurts the company. I don't get it. Like, I don't know.
And the tweet with the Mayo Clinic and WWE, it just makes it seem like it's really got to him. Like they really got in his head. And the best thing would have been just let it go, move on, and fight another day. But
like you just did this great card and with great numbers, attendance numbers at Wembley. Like that you don't have to like constantly be trying to act like there's some nonsensical invisible war that does not exist, by the way, between the two companies. Not yet. We want them to get there, but like when he does things like this, it in my opinion, it makes them go backwards. It makes them look like a Ring of Honor and companies like that every once in a while try to take a shot at WWE online because they know all the internet guys and gals are going to love it and make sound bites out of it and clickbait and stuff like that. It's not what a major league company would do. It's not what the Yankees do when talking smack about the Red Sox. They don't do that.
No. No, it's like in his head he thinks he's cannabis, but in this case, LL isn't even bothering to respond, which just makes it even sadder.
Great analogy. I love that. I love that beef.
Yeah.
But that's what he thinks. He's like, oh, I'm going to burn him with this one. And it's just like WWE's like, whatever, we don't care.
Well, in the 90s, when I realized that WCW had arrived and they were really a threat was when they started doing the Nacho Man huckster, when WWE started acknowledging WCW and brought them to their, kind of brought them to their level. So WWE is doing the smart thing. They're not even acknowledging it. They're just laughing it off, and moving on.
AEW is not even doing TNA Impact number. I mean, Impact peaked at 3 million. What was it?
2 million.
Well, it was 2.2. It settled the number, but the peak I think was 3 for that Hogan episode.
But we were consistently for about a 2-year window there, maybe even 3. We were on Spike. We were always over 1 million viewers. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. And AEW, I mean, granted the TV landscape just changed, but I don't know. It just feels like I mean, this sounds like the most obvious thing. I wish he put this much attention and his effort into booking good storylines and getting
the matches are great.
Interested. Yeah, the matches are. I mean, dude, in wrestling, the matches are phenomenal overall right now.
Once the bell rings, it's hard to argue their matches are not the best. It's a very hard argument to make. WWE has a few matches per show that are really good. Yes.
It's just funny though. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
So if you watch The Wrestlers on Netflix and you look at what Al Snow is doing for OVW, I feel like Al Snow obsessively puts more time into his storylines for promotion that now thankfully is selling out 400 seats a week. Yeah. But he's putting more time, effort, and energy into just focusing on making a good product, whereas TK is like not obsessively paying attention to what's going on. He's good at hiring talent, but it's like he doesn't know how to utilize them.
Yeah.
Not a bad point. And again, it sucks because anytime you say something negative about AEW, people it's like, oh, you're a hater on AEW. If you think that's true, go on my Twitter timeline. Go on my Twitter timeline, people, and tell me. Or when I used to be on the Wink podcast talking about wrestling, I was their biggest fanboy. So I'm friends with the Bucks, and I wanted to see them do well. The company that then, along with others, started. Right. So that's not a case of it at all. So, just if anybody's watching this from AEW. Tell your boss I know it's not easier said than done, right? Because he's your boss, but he's no Vince McMahon. You can't go to Vince McMahon and tell him something like this, right? You most certainly can grab some of you main eventers, can grab Tony aside and be like, brother, what are you doing? Chill out. This is not helping us. I came here from WWE as a huge star to help this organization out. When you're doing things like this, it doesn't help. Him being at the scrum the entire time, like a fanboy, does not help. It hurts. I swear to God, it hurts.
No, it feels special when Triple H comes out at the end of those press conferences.
Yeah, and gives like the overall numbers and does the stuff that'd be great. If Tony came in and did that'd be great because he's great with analyticals and numbers. Everyone knows that. But not every single segment of it with all the guys and gals that come up there to speak, where all he does is just go bananas over how great they are. Like we don't need to see that because it loses its luster and he's going to say great things about no matter what talent comes on out there. And it kills the context of it, where I just want to see the star of who's coming out to the scrum from their match to talk about it. That's it.
Yeah.
I agree.
He should not be their front man, if you will.
Yeah.
He just should not be. He should be the owner of the band, right? And get your Vince Neil out there, right? And let Vince Neil do what Vince Neil does, or Nikki Sixx, or whomever. Got him over.
It's